Let's get right into this. Number 10. The Atlanteans' alleged Antarctic ruins. Atlanteans left ruins under Antarctica. Yeah, because when your continent sinks, the logical next step is moving to the coldest freezer on Earth. But satellite ground-penetrating scans did pick up unnatural geometric formations under miles of ice. Scientists blame ancient volcanic activity, but the patterns look suspiciously like someone once tried urban planning before God turned on the deep freeze mode. And honestly, if you've ever hidden your problems under a blanket and hoped no one notices, same vibe. Except here the blanket is a continent of ice, and the twist, ice cores show warm periods when Antarctica was habitable, so maybe the Atlanteans didn't disappear. They just chose the world's worst real estate. Classic. Number 9. Mayans who migrated underground. Mayans escaped into vast underground cities. Right, because nothing says new life chapter like abandoning the sunlight forever. But cave systems like Belize's Aktun Tunakil Muknal show ceremonial chambers big enough to host a cosmic TED Talk. Archaeologists found structures, pathways, even water-engineered passages down there. And honestly, going underground to avoid chaos feels relatable. People today can't even answer the phone without diving into airplane mode. But here's the twist. Mayan descendants still talk about people who walk below. Maybe they didn't vanish. Maybe they just preferred not being sunburned into extinction. Respect. Number 8. Egyptian priests said to vanish into sand cities. Maybe they just preferred not being sunburned into extinction. Respect. Of course they did. Egyptians mastered architecture so well, they probably built starter homes just to misplace them. Ancient desert scans reveal buried corridors stretching for miles, plus lost temples swallowed by shifting dunes. Heat waves distort horizons so perfectly that you can't trust your own eyes, kind of like checking your bank balance after online shopping. But then comes the surprise. New excavations show entire complexes untouched, as if waiting for tenants to return with fresh incense. So maybe those priests didn't vanish. Maybe they clocked out early and the desert just hit delete. Number 7. Sumerian bloodlines in modern genetics. Sumerian bloodlines still exist in modern humans. Sure, because nothing says ancient royalty like your DNA deciding you deserve better Wi-Fi. But genetic studies show surprising links between early Mesopotamian groups and populations across the Middle East and South Asia. Human migration was basically prehistoric Uber. Everyone hopped on anything moving. And honestly, if your family's drama feels ancient, it probably tracks. But here's the twist. Researchers found unique haplogroups matching regions once ruled by Sumerians. So those lost bloodlines might not be lost. They're just out here paying rent like the rest of us. Number 6. Lemurian tunnels beneath the Pacific. Lemurians built tunnels beneath the Pacific. Yeah, because when your civilization collapses, the best response is dig everywhere like cosmic moles. But the Pacific plate is full of massive lava tubes stretching hundreds of kilometers. Nature made tunnels big enough to hide a whole myth. Deep-sea ridges even show odd symmetrical structures. If you've ever cleaned your room by shoving everything under the bed, congratulations! You understand Lemurian engineering. And here's the twist. Polynesian myths speak of long paths beneath the sea. So maybe Lemuria didn't sink entirely. Maybe it just went downstairs. Number 5. The Hyperboreans in Arctic myths. Hyperboreans lived forever in the Arctic. Of course, they picked the one place where the sun barely shows up and said, perfect retirement spot. Greek texts describe them as peaceful immortals, chilling beyond the north wind. Modern research turns out ancient Arctic climates were warmer at times, with thriving megafauna and human occupation. Honestly, anyone who survived a long winter knows immortality probably comes from being too cold to die. But twist time. Indigenous stories tell of tall, pale visitors arriving from the ice long before explorers. So maybe the Hyperboreans didn't vanish. Maybe they just hated tourists. Number 4. Phoenician colonies beneath modern Spain. Phoenicians built hidden colonies under Spain because nothing screams privacy like digging your own basement nation. But excavations near Cadiz and Huelva show deep chambers, workshops, and tunnels older than Roman occupation. The Phoenicians traded everywhere, so Spain was basically their weekend market. You know how you temporarily store things in your garage and then find them 6 years later? Same energy. And the twist? Some submerged structures off the Spanish coast match Phoenician layouts exactly. So maybe those colonies didn't disappear. They just became beachfront property by force. Number 3. Ancient Antarctic maps proving pre-ice travel. Ancient maps show Antarctica without ice, right? Because medieval cartographers definitely woke up and said, let's draw continents we haven't seen. But the Piri race map bizarrely outlines Antarctica's coastline, accurate to modern seismic scans. Scientists say it could be copied from older sources, maybe from a time when Antarctica wasn't frozen solid. And if you've ever drawn something without knowing what you're doing, like signing adult documents, you get it. But twist, recent ice core results reveal seasons when Antarctica was temperate, so those maps, maybe they weren't mistakes, maybe they were receipts. Number 2. The Mongol city hidden in a valley. A lost Mongol city still exists in a secret valley, because obviously the Mongols needed a hideout after conquering half the planet. Remote valleys in Mongolia show ruins with advanced irrigation and fortifications untouched by known dynasties. Satellite images keep revealing rectangular layouts like someone paused a medieval city builder game. And honestly, disappearing into a valley sounds great every time someone asks, can we talk? But the kicker, local herders still tell stories of a place where horses don't age. So maybe the city didn't fall. Maybe it just closed the door and muted the world. Number 1. The immortal monks of the Himalayas. Immortal monks live in the Himalayas. Naturally, because if you walk far enough uphill, enlightenment apparently turns into a lifetime warranty. Himalayan hermits practice extreme fasting, cold exposure, and breath control, and science shows these techniques reshape metabolism and stress responses. Basically, they biohack before Silicon Valley thought of it. And if you've ever felt 10 years older after climbing a single staircase, imagine reversing that. But the twist? Sherpas report meeting monks who look the same decades later. Not immortal, just outrageously good at mind-body patch updates. Respectfully terrifying.